Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today we are going to work on another SQL project, and this will be on employee data analysis for HR insights. So we are going to work on the HR database today and provide insights to the HR department based on the existing data. In the previous video, we worked on a sales database, and we analyzed all the sales data and provided insights to the organization at the end. So today we are going to do the same for the HR department, and we are going to analyze the HR data. At the end of this video, I'm going to give you another project that will be social media engagements, and you will be going to work on that project on your own without my assistance. And once you do your project, make sure you show it on your social media platforms. So without any further waiting, let's begin. As you can see on my screen, today we are going to analyze employees data for HR insights. And the first thing that we need to do is to see the objectives of this project. The first objective is to understand workforce dynamics for gaining a deep understanding of the organizational structure, including the distribution of employees across departments and roles. The second thing that we need to see is the salary trends analysis to investigate salary patterns, identifying average salaries, salary ranges, and potential correlations with other factors. Same thing we are going to do with the employee tenure and movement to examine employee tenure, analyze job history records, and explore any notable patterns in career progression or departmental changes. So let's see the key questions that we are going to answer in this project through SQL commands or queries. The first thing is that we need to find who are the top 10 earners in this organization. It means we are going to show the top 10 people who are earning the top salary in this organization. The second question is, how are the employees distributed in the department? That means what is the employee count in each department, and then we need to see what is the average salary by each department. So we are going to compare the average salary of all the departments with each other. The fourth one is we need to show employees with multiple salaries. Employee with multiple salary would mean that an employee started with one salary, but later at sometimes they had a raise or a decrease in the salary, and they had a new salary after some time. So the fifth one will be what is the employee count by each job title. For example, if we have 2 or 3 job titles like system admin, a CEO, for example data analyst, then how many employees for each role do we have in this organization? The next thing is what is the average salary by each job title, and the last one is how has the average salary changed over time, and are there any notable trends? So we need to analyze the average salary by each year. For example, we need to see the salary of past 5 or 6 years and compare it with every year to see whether the average salary is increasing or decreasing. So let's move on with the first question, but before that let's explore the data. Let's see the columns of all the tables and see the topmost records to see what type of data do we have and how are the tables linked to each other, so we can later on join these tables with each other for writing SQL queries. So let me move on to pgadmin 4. As you can see, I've already connected to the PostgreSQL server 16. We have 6 databases, but today we are going to work on HR database. The one that you see at the end, that is social media engagement database. I will give you this database for your own practice and doing your own project. Remember, I've already prepared the problem statement, the key questions and everything for you. I'll give you both the presentation backup of this database so you can practice along. So let's move on to the HR database first, and let me go to schemas. Let me open public schema and see the tables. The first table that we have is departments table, then we have employees, history, salaries, and titles. So to see these tables and the columns, we can open these tables here as well, but the best method is to write a simple query like select star from departments. This way we will see the columns and the data as well. So let me run this query, and here is the result. We have a table of departments. It has 2 columns, ID, which is the primary key, and name. So we have ID column and name. There are 10 records, so we have 10 departments in this organization. Similarly, we can see the employees data as well. Let me limit this to 5 because I'm sure we will have more employees in this organization, so we can limit this to 5. So in this table we have ID, first name, last name, email of the employee, hire date, title ID and department ID. As you might be aware that title ID is a foreign key that is coming from the titles table that you can see in the left side, and department ID is a foreign key from the departments table that comes from departments tables ID column. So you must know this because we have studied all these things in the previous lessons. If you do not understand this, I'll recommend that you see the previous videos first so you can understand what a primary key is, what a foreign key is, and how we can join multiple tables in SQL. So this is employees data. Let me move on to the history. Select star from history and limit it to 5. If I run this, this table has ID, then the start date, end date, employee ID, title ID and department ID. Again, I am repeating that these 3 columns like employee ID, title ID and department ID are coming from 3 different tables and they are foreign keys here. Let's now check salaries data. Let me run this, and this is the salaries table. We have ID first, then we have salary, start date, end date and employee ID. So we have the starting date for this salary, when this salary was started for this specific employee, and the end date, that means when that salary was stopped for this specific employee. Maybe the employee resigned from the organization, or maybe they moved to another department with a different role and different salary and something like that. But this is the salaries records that we can see. The last one is titles. Let me select all the titles. Let me remove this limit class to see all the titles. If I run this, we can see there are 10 titles: software engineer, data analyst, project manager and so on. So these are the 10 titles and this is all the data that we have. Let's move on to presentation and see what are the questions that are asked from us. The next step is for data cleaning. We need to check for duplicate records in different tables. We need to check for missing values and check data types and formats. We have already checked this data. There is no problem. It's already clean. There are no missing values and there are no duplicate records. In some tables, for example, in salaries tables, we might have 2 records or 3 records for the same employee ID, but that cannot be called duplicate unless the entire record is duplicate. So let's move on to the data analysis process. In this process, we will solve each one of the key questions step by step to gather information from the data, and the answers to these questions will give us the opportunity to provide our insights and recommendations to the HR department of this organization. So for gathering insights and answering the questions, let's move on to the first one. The first question is, who are the top 10 earners in the organization? Based on the existing data, we need to find those 10 people who are gaining the most amount of salary from this organization. So let me move on to PG admin 4 and let's write our first query. So what is asked from us is to find out the top 10 salary gainers, or the top 10 people who are earning more. So what we can do is to say that show me employee.id, employee.first name, employee.last name, and then salary.salary from employees table. If you do not understand like emp.id or sal.salary, the sal and emp are the aliases that we are giving to the tables. If you do not understand this, please refer back to the previous videos. We have already explained all of these things. So from employees table, I'm calling it emp, inner join, salaries table, let's call it sal on emp.id is equal to salary.employee ID. In the data exploration stage, we saw that employee table is linked with the salaries table by these 2 columns, the ID column from employees coming as a foreign key, by the name of employee ID to the salaries table. So that's it. Now what we need to do is to order by salary.salary and descending order. Let's first run this query. Okay, so this is the result. We are seeing all the staff, all the employees along with their salaries, and we have listed the topmost salary on top of the result. So what we can do is to limit this result set for only 10 records. For that we need to add the limit class and add 10 here. If I run this query now, it will show only 10 records, and these are the top 10 earners in this organization. I will add all these queries to a notepad file, and the link will be added to the video description, so you can download the file from there and practice along with me. So let me clean this query for now, and let's go to the second question. The second question says that how are the employees distributed in the departments, that is, what is the employee count in each department. So we need to see how many employees are working in each department separately. So for that we need to see the department name, and then we need to see the number of employees. So what we can do is to write select department dot name comma count of employee dot id. That's it. From departments table, dep inner join employees table, emp on dep dot id is equal to emp dot department id. So the department id column in employees table is actually a foreign key from the departments table. Let me group this result by department dot name, and then order the results by count of emp dot id, and let's show this result in descending order. So if I run this, it will show us the departments along with a count of employees. So for sales we have 219 employees working there, in legal department we have 215, and so on. So we are showing the result in descending order, where the most amount of employees are shown on the top, and the least amount of employees are shown at the bottom of the result. So this is the answer to the second question, where we are seeing the department name on the left and the number of employees working there are listed on the right side. So that's it for the second question. It's very simple. Let's now see the average salary by each department. We need to see the average salary of each department separately. So let me go back to pgadmin 4, remove the existing query, and say that select department dot name, and this time average of salary dot salary. From departments table, department dap inner join salaries sal. Remember that in the salaries table, if you see on the left side, we see the columns here, we do not have any department id here. It means we cannot join departments table with the salaries table. So in this case we need to find a way to join these two tables, and the way is that we have another table employees, which is in the middle of these two tables. It means department is connected to employees and employees table is connected to the salaries table. So we can go from departments to employees and from employees to the salaries table. So for joining these two tables, instead of writing salaries here, I need to first join departments with employees, emp on emp dot department id is equal to department dot id, and now I can join the employees table with the salaries table. So inner join salaries sal on salary dot employee id is equal to emp dot id. That's it. Now we need to group the result by department dot name, group by department dot name, and again I need to order this result by average of salary dot salary, and let's show it in the descending order. If I run this query, I missed this salary, that's why we are not seeing the result. So if I run this again, now it shows the result properly. So this is the department on the left side, and this is the average salary for each department. So marketing is on top and administration is at the bottom of the result. This is the answer to the question where we were asked to show the department and their average salary. So let's move on to the next question, and it says show employees with multiple salaries. To show employees with multiple salaries, we need to join employees along with salaries. So this is very simple. Let me go back to PG admin 4, and here I can say that select emp dot first name, emp dot last name, and sal.salary from employees, emp inner join salaries sal on emp.id is equal to salary.employee id. Okay, if I run this, it will show employees along with their salaries like this. But we have been asked to show only those employees who have multiple salaries. Okay, so for that we can say that where emp.id in this list. For that we need to run a subquery where we need to fetch only those IDs or those employees IDs from the salaries table who have been repeated in that table. For example, an employee ID 10 has 2 or 3 records in the salaries table. We need to fetch that and provide that ID to this in operator. So we need to run another inner query here that will be select employee ID from salaries group by employee ID having count star greater than 1. This means that we need to select only those employees IDs from salaries table which have more than 1 records. Having count star greater than 1 means there are more than 1 records in the salaries table for this employee ID. Before running the entire query, let me run the subquery first to see whether we are getting the employee IDs or not. So let's run the inner query first. Let me run this query, and it is giving me these 3 records. So let's check these 3 records whether we have multiple salaries for these 3 or not. For that, let me run a separate query. Select star from salaries where employee ID is in this list. So 20, 54 and 1. Let me run this first to confirm this. Yes, we have 2 records for each one of them. Employee ID 1 has 2 records. The first one is 54,000. The second one is 60,000, the salary. So then employee ID 54 also has 2 records. The first one is 67,000 and the second one is 70,000, and employee ID 20 also has 2 records, same thing. So we are getting these 3 IDs when we run the subquery. Now these 3 IDs gotten from this query will be passed to this in operator, and then we will run the entire query to see the result. So if I run this, we are getting this result for these 3 IDs. So for that, let me print the ID as well. emp.id, emp.firstname and so on. So yes, we are getting the IDs, ID number 1, ID 20 and ID number 54. So these 3 employees are having 2 records in the salaries table, and they have 2 salaries records in the salaries table. So it means the first record for employee ID 1 was 54,000 and the second one was 60,000. Same is the case for the other 2 employee IDs. So this is the query needed for answering this question. Let's move on to the next one. What is the employee count by job title? So here we need to include the titles table as well. Let me show you the titles table. It has 2 columns, ID and name. So let me show the count of employees for each title. We can say that select t.name, count of emp.id from titles t, inner join employees emp on t.id is equal to emp.title id. That's it. Group by t.name, order by count of emp.id, and descending order. If I run this, it will show the number of employees for each title in the titles table. So for IT consultant, we have 216 employees. For data analyst, we have 108. So that is the query needed for answering this question. We selected name from the titles table, and then we selected the number of employees from the employee table. Let's move on to the next one. That is, what is the average salary by job title? So here we need to join the salaries table with the titles table. Let's see if we have any direct connection between salaries and the titles. So let me show the salaries table. We do not have any direct connection again. So what we need to do is to join the salaries first with employees, or the titles first with employees, and then go from employees to the next table. So here we can say that select title.name, comma average of salary from titles t, inner join. Here I cannot join titles directly with salary, so I need to join it with employees first. Inner join employees, emp on t.id is equal to emp.title id. Now I can say inner join salaries sal on emp.id is equal to salary.employee id. Okay, that's done. Now what we need to do is to group this result by t.name, and again order the result by average of salary.salary. Again I misspelled it, and in descending order. If I run this, we will get the title and the average salary. Here we can see that the network engineer has the highest average salary and the project manager has the lowest. So these are the average salaries distributed by title names. This query is needed for answering this question. Let's move on to the next one, and this will be the last one. It says that how has the average salary changed over time, and are there any notable trends? It means we need to check the salary for each year separately. So what we need to do is to use a function from PostgreSQL, that is extract function. We can use that for extracting day, month and year from a given date. So here in the salaries we have the start date, and we can use that start date column to extract year from that, and then show the average salary for each year. What I need to do is to select extract year from start date, or I can say salary.start date, or because we are using only one table, so we do not need to give it an alias. Of course we can give alias to the column name, but we do not need to give any alias to the table name because we use only one table in this query. So select extract year from start date, or we can say start year like this. That will be good, comma I need to get the average of salary for that year, and that will be it from the salaries column, and then I need to group this result by start year, which is the year from start date column, and then order by, I am again ordering this result by start year because I want to see previous most year on top, and then the last year or the current year at the end of the result set. So I can say again start year. That's it. Let me run this. Okay, we are seeing the result from 2018 to 2023. So in 2018 we had the average salary of 76,224, and then in 2023 or this year we have 74,600. It means the salary has been decreasing slightly in every year. So from 2018 to 2023 we are seeing a decline in the average salary. So we can say that the salary is decreasing from 2018 to 2023, and that will be the answer to this last question. As now we answered all the questions given to us, now we need to provide insights and give feedback or recommendations to the HR department. So what I need to do is to write our insights here. So let me go back to the first question. Who are the top 10 earners in the organization? So here we need to provide the insight here, but we do not need to list everything here in the insights. What we need to do is to give the answers of all the questions to the HR department and then provide our own recommendations and insights from the data in this insights section. So let's go to some questions that can give us insights. Okay, how are the employees distributed in each department? We can say that sales department has the most number of employees and administration department has the least number of employees. And question number 2, what is the average salary by each department? So we need to get insight from this answer of this question and provide our insight here. Marketing, research and sales departments are getting more salaries than the other departments. So this is another insight that we saw before while running the query. Let's move on to another question. So we can write the insight from this question as well. What is the average salary by job title? We can say that network engineer, system analysts and data analysts are getting more salaries on average than the other job roles. That's it. This is another insight, and we can add one more insight that will be that the average salary has declined from 2018 to 2023. We had more average salary in 2018, but that has been decreased in the recent years. That's it. We can provide more recommendations and insights from this data as well, but from these key questions that were given to us, we picked these 4 insights that will be beneficial for the HR department of this organization. So this is the end of this project. What we did in this project was we saw the objectives of the project first, then we saw the key questions, we explored the data, and then we went to solving each question separately and we got the result set. Remember that along with these insights, we need to provide the result of each question to the organization so they can see the trends, they can see the different tables or the result set. So that's it for this project. Now it's the time for you, so you can also do a project. I have prepared one project for you, so you can also work on that project and you can practice along with me. You can see on my screen you have a project that is social media engagement. I will give link to this presentation and I'll also provide the link to the database backup. So you need to download the backup, restore it in a database, and you need to solve these questions that are listed in this presentation for you, so you can learn SQL by your own self and you can practice along with me. So here is the problem statement. Read this problem statement, then read these questions. For example, what is the distribution of user ages on the platform? Where are the most users located? Can we identify popular user locations? What are the peak hours and days for posting content on the social media platform? So you need to see all these key questions. There are 7 questions listed in this slide. Then we have 3 more questions listed on this second slide. And then you have data exploration. You know how to explore the data. You need to go through all the tables, see the topmost records, for example, top 5 or 10 records. So you can see the columns, you can see the data types. Also, you can see the links or connections between different tables. Then you need to clean the data. If there are missing values, there are duplicate records, then you need to clean them. If you do not know, you need to watch previous videos, because we have worked on these topics separately in previous videos. Then you need to start the data analysis process, and in that you need to solve all the questions. At the end, you need to provide insights. Whenever you do this project, you will have some hands-on experience, and then you can list this project on your resumes, your cover letters, and you can show this project to others. So once you do this project, make sure you show it on LinkedIn and other social media platforms wherever you have accounts, so the recruiters or other people can see your work and they can also appreciate it. So that's it for today. If you have any questions, any suggestions, make sure you leave them in the comments section. And if you get value from this video, please give it a like, share it with your friends, and make sure you subscribe to the channel. That's it for today. Have a nice time.